All right, so let me show you guys another cool little option strategy you can take. So I already pulled it up here. I'll show you how to set it up in a second, but this is called an iron butterfly. And basically, you want price to stay in between 2 points, right? And you can see here that if we're right and SPY is in between 680 and 690, we make $425, and this is expiring November 14th. So again, not advising you do this, but you could do it on a daily basis too. So we'll set that up in a second and I'll show you. Anyways, so as long as SPY is in this range, you make, anywhere from 425 to, 0, depending on where it's at, right? But you're only risking $75. So this is another way to do like a 3-to-1 or 4-to-1 built-in trade. And yeah, you can do this anytime you want. It doesn't even matter where the market's at. Like, it's a low risk gamble, right? But if you know how to read technicals, you know how to read the charts, and you think you can take a good guess of where SPY will likely be in the next week, say, you could do this every week. You could do this every day, right? So let's look at that. So let's clear all this out. Let's go to trade SPY and let's go to tomorrow. Now, obviously, if you do it on a daily basis, you're gonna have to be closer. So in that case, I was going like $5 out. But we'll see what happens when we do that here, and then I'll show you how to fix that. But so, anyways, so what you do is you say, let's say, you think SPY is going to be at 680 at the end of the week, right? So you you sell a 680 call and put, right? So you sell a 680 call and sell a 680 put. And then you buy $5 up, call, and then you buy $5 down, put, right? There you go. There's your iron butterfly. And this expires tomorrow. Okay? Max loss 135, max profit 365. As long as SPY finishes somewhere in this area, you make money, right? If it finishes dead nuts on the 680 strike, like we guessed, then you get your max profit. But as long as you're in this range, you're making money. Pretty cool, right? You can do this every day. And obviously the amount you make varies on how close you are. But as long as you're above 676 or below, or below 683 or above 676, right? You're making money no matter what. So I mean, you can adjust this too. Like if you want to widen your range, right? So instead of buying 675, you could go all the way to 670, right? And then for calls, we could go from 680 all the way up to 690, and you can see what this will do, right? So it steepens your loss, right? It steepens your losses, but it also buys you more room. So again, 675 all the way to 684. As long as you're in that range, you're good, right? So you can adjust this as you see fit. So there's different ways you could even extend your butterfly a little bit. So like instead of doing this 680 for both, you could sell, let's say, a 679 or sell a 681 call and sell a 679 put. And there you go. See how it just changed the shape of it a bit? So it widened. You can be a little bit off and still get max profit here, right? So you can kind of play with these butterflies and shape them how you want, but I'm just showing you what you can do with a margin account. Typically what you would do though is, the shorter the expiration, the smaller the wing. So since this is a daily trade, let's set this up if I was going to do this, right? So a 1% move in any given day from 10 o'clock on the S&P is highly unlikely. So you wait till 10 o'clock and then you sell your whatever the price is at that time. So let's say it's 10 o'clock right now, price is 680. We sell the 680 put and the 680 call. And then we would do 1% of 680, which is 6.8, right? So 6.8 times plus 680 takes us to 687. So I would buy the 687 and then switch to puts and buy the $7 in the other direction would take us to 673. Boom. There's your butterfly, right? So as long as you're between 675 and 684, you're good to go. There you go, right? So again, you could tighten this up and you could go like this just to show you how this affects this. So call. If you tighten it up, like 3 in, as you can see, significantly reduced our risk because it is less likely to happen. So that's kind of how this works. Is like you take on more risk, the more likely that the trade is to play out. But those kind of wash, right? So like you can either risk a small amount of money and take more risk, or you like take a smaller chance of it happening and risk less money, or you can risk more money but you have a bigger chance of winning, right? So you're paying for better odds, if that makes sense. So that's how iron butterflies work. They're really cool. You can do this every single day, and you could, so like if you want to just trade every day because you feel like it and you don't want to risk a lot of money, this is where you can do it. And everybody can do this. Like you guys learn, you literally just look at the VIX for the day, see how volatile the market is, and then you can basically take your trades on that, and just knowing the schedule, like you can know what kind of volatility to expect. And how, I mean, you guys watch the market enough, you can see like sometimes it's just not, it's low volume, and you can read it pretty easy. Like, so I'm not saying to do this every day, but you can. You really can. And so like in this setup here, as long as SPY is between 676 and 683 tomorrow, which is pretty good chance that would actually happen, right? Risking $84, but if it's at, 680 where we guessed, then you'd make a $310 profit. And even if it was $1 in either direction, you'd still make a 1-to-1, like as much as you're risking. So pretty cool strat. Highly recommend it. Iron butterflies are gangster. You can do them every single week. So like a passive way. Sorry, this video is getting kind of long, but this is a passive way to do it. So here you go. You say, I think by November 7th that the S&P will be at 682. Okay, that's it's roughly. So sell 682 put and a 682 call. And then buy 687 and sell put 677. Yeah, because 82. Yeah. Okay. Oop, screwed that up. Buy. There we go. There you go. So you can set that up every week, right? And as long as SPY is between 678 and 685 by Friday, you make $400. If it's not, you lose $100. And just like any other trade, you can stop loss this, you can manage it in real time and close the position at different times. So if you're halfway through the week and the S&P is still in the money and you're up, say 50% on this, you could close it. Or if you're down, say 30%, and you know that the market might, like you have a good indication that the market's going to keep going against you, you can close it early for a loss of $50. So you can manage it just like any other trade, and it's something you can do every single week. And it literally, as you get better at reading the market, this is like passive income. Sometimes you're going to lose. You are. Just like any other trade. But the risk to reward's built in here, and it's very good. It's very good. So anyways, wouldn't full port anything like this, but something you can do for fun. make some extra money. See ya.